morning, and thank you for letting me appear before you today. My name is Jim Gontry, project manager for the Mark Twain Transmission Project. With me today are Eric Dearmont, in-house counsel, Leah Devers, and our public relations group, and Dave Endorf, an engineer with Ameren. Also with me is Doug Isles from Northeast Power Cooperative, and Cammy Moan in the economic development. We are here today on behalf of Ameren Transmission Company of Illinois, ATXI, to request an assent to construct the Mark Twain Transmission Project. Specifically, ATXI is asking for your approval to suspend our transmission wires and related facilities across York County roads and highways. All of our permanent transmission structures will be located outside of public right-of-way, and all road crossings will have clearances that meet or exceed all applicable National Electrical Safety Code, NESC, and Missouri Department of Transportation requirements. Given the project design, the existence and operation of transmission line will not impact the public's use of county or state roads. The Mark Twain Transmission Project originated as part of a group of multi-value projects approved by the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, MISO. Under MISO's transmission expansion plan, the project was found to be necessary to relieve congestion and increase the efficiency of the regional power market, enhance reliability, and provide greater transmission capacity to promote the development and delivery of renewable wind energy. As you may know, the proposed new route will run through Adair, Knox, Lewis, Marion, and Schuyler counties and will include construction of a new substation in Adair County. To minimize the potential impacts of the project and to address concerns of property owners and local stakeholders, the proposed route will use more than 90% of existing right-of-way on Northeast Power's 161 kV line between Elmira and Kirksville, and Ameren Missouri's 161 kV line from Kirksville to the Iowa border. As a part of the project, ATXI will remove the existing H-frame structures and guide wires along the route's right-of-way and replace them with fewer self-supporting steel structures, the vast majority of which will be single-pole structures. These taller structures provide greater clearance for large farm equipment. With respect to the easement, ATXI will need to acquire for construction, operation, and maintenance of the line. We're committed to good faith negotiations with affected landowners, in addition to providing fair payments associated with the acquisition of rights of way. ATXI will offer landowners the option to receive either prepaid crop loss damages or actual damages after construction is complete. After the line is complete, landowners will retain the right to engage in non-conflicting activities under the line, including farming, grazing, and hunting. In addition to compensating landowners fairly, ATXI will employ best management practices during construction and maintenance. We will work with landowners to minimize erosion, to repair any damaged gates or fences, to avoid, reroute, or replace drain tile, to apply fertilizer in line if requested, and to deep-rip cropland to mitigate compaction of soils. To use existing access roads when practicable, and perhaps most importantly, to provide personal contacts ready and willing to address any landowner concerns that may arise during construction. ATXI has provided several documents to you for review through council. That information included the Mark Twain Transmission Project County Road Crossing Report for Knox County, dated July 5th, 2017, a letter of assurance regarding ATXI's use of Knox County roads, a proposed Knox County assent order, and several aerial maps. The Mark Twain Transmission Project is necessary to promote grid reliability, relieve congestion to the energy grid, meet local energy needs, and promote renewable energy, such as wind power. It is estimated that the Mark Twain Transmission Project will generate more than $780,000 in annual tax revenue to support schools, roads, police, and emergency and social services in Knox County. In total, the project is expected to generate more than $3 million in annual tax revenue in the 5 counties where the line will be located. We should respectfully ask that you take these factors into consideration and grant ATXI the requested assent. Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak in support of the project? You said for the project? Yes. Good, please, comments to around 2 minutes.
Not a problem, not a problem. My name is Doug Isles. I'm the CEO of Northeast Power. Power, and we're collaborating with ATXI on this project and using our right-of-way across Knox County. I have a resolution of support from Northeast Power Board of Directors and from the Lewis County Rural Electric Cooperative Board of Directors in support of this project.
Is there anyone else? How many would like to, if I can see a show of hands, speak out in opposition to?
Can I speak for the project?
Yes, please. Please state your name and where you're from for the record.
My name is Tom Devaney, and I'm a lifelong resident of Knox County, reside here in Edina. I'll keep my comments very short. When this project was initially, well, first of all, I'd like to clarify one thing. I'm speaking for myself. I am not in any representative capacity acting for any other organization, board, or group. I'm speaking as a landowner, as a taxpayer in Knox County. When the original plan was submitted that had a completely different route, I strongly opposed it. I felt it was very disruptive to many landowners, but conditions and circumstances have changed. And when circumstances change, I think attitudes should change. My attitude has changed. I can see great good for the county in this proposal. I can see great good for the area, and I endorse it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in support? And can I have a show of hands who all would like to speak out in opposition, just to kind of keep it accountable for timekeeping purposes?
Do you have to be in opposition?
Or speak
Your
out.
question?
Yes. 2, 3, 4. All right. Well, we'll stay the same, keep it around 2 minutes if we can, speaking. We'll start. If you like.
Is it okay if I do it from here?
Yeah, and just like I said, just say your name and where you're from for the record.
I'm Nina Myers, I'm here just as a local Shelby County person. But when we met before, one time when Ameren asked Chris, and there was a question asked about a disaster plan. Has that ever been completed, or at least something to let people know that if a tornado or something would come through, that there's a disaster plan going to be for, like, if they were to block county roads and prevent ambulances and rescue people from getting to people that need to be? That's something we're
Yes.
still concerned about.
Would you like to address that?
Okay. So when we don't do, I guess if we was requested, we would do a specific safety plan or disaster plan for Knox County. Our standard plan for situations like that is we have a staff that's.
You need to stand up, these people can't hear.
Right. Yeah, so we staff our operations 24, 365, 7 days a week. And as part of the effort, when we actually come out to work with landowners and talk about easements and stuff like that, and then later on, when we're getting closer to in service, would be a push of information about numbers to contact in case of emergencies or if there's a line problem with the facilities. Also, here in Knox County, with our lines being co-located with Northeast Power, and we'll have really good flow of information back and forth. So there's an issue with any of the lines that way. They're also a resource, and our operations will be communicating back and forth. But if there, in the unlikely event that a line comes down, we have a staff that will respond, usually within 24 hours, to assess the damage. Sorry, is there a question? Assess the damage and then arrange a repair. And if there is an urgent situation, work with the local fire, first responders, police.
Would be, if it would happen, we have to take care of the people, they have to come from like St. Louis area or somewhere?
Well, I don't know exactly where they would come from. We have a staff in St. Louis that responds, but normally with facilities like this, we also work with contractors that have a larger presence in the Midwest to be able to respond. So it's not just Ameren folks, but also we would rely on contractors to staff it. Whoever's kind of first available to respond.
You say the response within 24 hours?
Usually, that's, yeah, I mean, but these lines, we're gonna know if there's a problem with it, and if there's a problem with it, we're gonna dispatch somebody to assess it right away, so I think 24 hours is probably reasonable.
Are you gonna respond to the fire department and tell them what you want them to do when that line actually falls, and they get the call to come out there?
I'm
Are you gonna have a plan for them? The fire departments to maybe talk to them?
We've not spoken with the fire department specifically, no.
Are you gonna, if this is up, are you gonna develop a plan for each department, what they should do in response?
If we need to work with the individual fire departments to update them on how this works, then
Did that answer your question?
That's one of my questions, I have another question.
Okay.
And I guess it would be to you guys. Those figures given about the taxes, is that gross figures, or is that like from the Missouri Taxing Commission? Because I know the Missouri Taxing Commission recommends each county's, not just this project, but any project big like this that goes through your counties, to call them and get what they figure is gonna happen, because they, that might be a downfall or a shortfall.
we provide those figures, those do not come from the state tax commission, but we work with state tax commission to develop an approach.
Has this commission contacted the county, the Missouri Taxing Commission?
Not really.
How about a show of hands, people that just do not want this, thing to go through, make it simple, keep it simple. Anybody got any ideas about that?
It is a hearing, and we're taking testimony. We can do that at the end if we like. Is there anyone else who would care to address the commission?
Yeah, I was,
Say your name.
when I looked at my easement with it said they can share their easement with other rural electric cooperatives. ATXI is not a rural electric cooperative. Or can they legally do that?
So the question is, how can ATXI share their easement? We wouldn't share their easement. ATXI will get its own easement over the 150-foot right-of-way. So we'll get an easement separate from theirs.
Can it be the same piece of property?
Yes.
Well, if they do that, can other services come in and put an easement on the same property too?
They would be subject to getting that own easement for themselves with the landowner.
But they will be able to do that.
Sorry, say that again.
Let's say like a gas line, I want to put a gas line across there, they can put an easement in on the same place.
They could, I mean, but they would be subject to negotiation for that easement. With
You have to
individual.
grant them that permission. They wouldn't have the right under the terms of our easement to do that.
If you do get an easement for it, are you gonna share that easement with any other services?
No, I mean, our easement is for Ameren Transmission Company users.
No fiber cable or anything like that?
Ameren Transmission wouldn't know.
We like to retain the right to use telecommunication services for our own purposes, so to have the substations talk to each other. But outside of that, no, that will all be subject to individual negotiation. So if you have concerns about that, that's the type of thing we'd like to talk to you about in the field.
And, question for commissioners, approximately how much tax money is this gonna bring into the county each year?
I don't know off the top of my head. It appears, my name is Steve Benson, I am the attorney for the commission. It appears that there will be tax revenue for the county. ATXI has worked with the tax commission to figure those numbers. I think the total number was about $750 million, about $750,000. There will also be some tax revenue for the county because ATXI has agreed to place a laydown yard in this county, which is a yard that will be used for the construction of the line and for materials coming into that yard and going out of that yard. So there will be some tax ramifications and benefits to Knox County that will emanate from that particular laydown yard. So there will be two potential types, well not potential, there are two types of tax benefits that will come to the county. And plus, the other benefit that will be the fact that Northeast Power's lines that now run through this county, and I just drove up here this morning and looked at several of those different lines, and it's apparent they need and will need in the next 10 years to be refurbished, to be replaced, and this will accomplish that task. And that cost that Northeast would have had to replace, refurbish those lines will not be incurred by Northeast Power. And that will be another savings that will be passed on to this county based upon the fact that we're using the electricity that comes from those lines. So there's three potential revenue sources, and I keep using the word potential, I should not. There are three revenue sources from this project that will benefit this county and benefit, in my opinion, the nation. And that's what I advise the county commission.
The figures that he gave us, is that in addition to what we already get from Northeast Power?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
I want to know if the figures that he gave us, was that in addition to what we already get from Northeast Power?
Yes, I believe that is, the figures that have been calculated are purely for the Mark Twain project of ATXI. So yes, it will be.
Okay, I have one more question for the commissioners. A lot of places where they have these high voltage lines, it does devalue the property next to it. Are you going to lower my property taxes on that property?
That would be a question for the assessor on that. We don't have anything to do with that particular area. Any further comments?
Me, I have a question.
Questions?
If I understand, if we would sign this easement, will that relieve us of liability if somebody gets hurt when they're, servicing the power lines, either Northeast or AXI? Or do we have to have more liability to cover you on our property, or how does this work?
Yeah, my name's Eric, I'm the in-house lawyer at Ameren. You don't need to have additional insurance coverage, and that's some feedback that we've been hearing. We heard it at the open houses that we had in June. That's something that we're working on, is maybe updating the standard easement to include kind of what we call an indemnification clause that talks about like giving you some extra liability protections and things like that. So if that's something that you think would be helpful, that's certainly something we can take back and take a look at. Because again, that's some feedback we heard at the open houses that seems to be a common concern.
So short answer, no.
No, you don't need additional coverage, yeah.
I have a question.
Who does cover, an injury?
That's the indemnification clause that I'm talking about. That's essentially the purpose of that. If something bad happens, it would be to make you whole in the event that, there's an injury or some type of damage or something like that. So,
From ATXI.
from ATXI, right.
Echo.
I have a question for Eric. Might be able to answer this, but I think Doug and Jim. I work with our local emergency planning committee. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. You've never heard of that. Basically, what we do is we plan for emergencies in Knox County, and there is a local emergency planning committee in every county that the route touches. Would both ATXI and Northeast Power be willing to dedicate a body to be part of the membership of emergency planning? I mean, I see that there's emergency concern, and this would be something, some of the things that we get together and run scenarios on are things like pipeline accidents and, train derailments, hazardous material. And so to have a high voltage power line and have some sort of it kind of sticks out in me that we probably need to have representatives from both of your entities on all, not just in Knox, but, this would include Adair, Schuyler, Lewis, and Marion. Would you guys be willing to dedicate someone to be a representative to that?
I can speak on behalf of Power. What we typically do when we do get a request from a like that, we participate in some whatever exercise or that they would have to assist them with that process. We wouldn't necessarily be a member of the committee, but if there's something we can do to assist with I won't say an exercise, I'm not sure that's the right word.
No, that's what it is, yeah.
Some sort of planning event to see how things work and what questions have come up and how can you improve on your response in the future. We would always be willing to participate in something like that, and do in some counties already.
I think we'd be in the same boat, wouldn't we, Jim? I don't know that we'd want to be a standing member of that, unless that's something you would want. But as far as providing support, coordinating, I think we'd absolutely agree to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Any other comments? Yes, sir. So please state your name and where you're from. Yes.
Byron Martin, I got one final question for the commissioners. If you vote to give them a cent today, I'd like to have them give you an oral agreement that all lawsuits will be dropped against Knox County and no more brought forward, on the condition that you all sign it.
Yes, it is.
Sir, as part of what we have negotiated with ATXI about this assent, I have represented the county commission and your county. Not the first time I've represented your county. I've been here many times, but several times before. I was telling some stories about trying a couple of cases in your old courtroom before this marvelous renovation was done. But I represent the county in the lawsuit also, and as part of the negotiations, what ATXI has agreed to do, there are 3 counts in that lawsuit. And the third count was the only count that was for damages, where they were suing for money. ATXI has agreed, if the county commission approves the assent today and enters the assent order, that they will dismiss that count with prejudice, which means it can never be refiled at any point in the future. It is gone. Count 1 and count 2 were the causes of action ATXI asserted against the county concerning the county failing to grant the previous assent for the previous route. Those 2 counts are going to remain in the lawsuit, and they're going to be stayed, and we had a conference with the judge on Wednesday, and the judge has agreed to stay those 2 counts in the lawsuit until ATXI has filed their application for the Certificate of Convenience with the PSC, Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission has approved this new route that will run through all 5 of the counties, including Knox County. Assuming the PSC does approve this new route, then those 2 lawsuits will be immediately dismissed, or those 2 counts will be immediately dismissed by ATXI with prejudice, which means they can never be refiled and the lawsuits will be over. The primary count, though, is the count 3, and it will be dismissed this afternoon or Monday morning if the county commission grants the assent. And that was part of our negotiations. And those negotiations, I actually represent 3 counties in these lawsuits, Marion, Schuyler, and Knox. And for all 3 counties, that was the deal that we negotiated with ATXI. Marion County granted the assent on Monday of this week. Mr. Tripp, who represents ATXI on Tuesday morning, immediately dismissed count 3 of that lawsuit with prejudice, just like I'm telling you it's going to happen here if the county commission grants this.
Address your. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes.
You mentioned about the yard being here, there was tax coming in on that. Just so that everybody's aware, the way I understand it is, if the poles and things aren't there January 1, say they move them in January 1 and have them out by December 31st, you get nothing. So, and a lot of companies play on that, they'll move their stuff in first day or second day or even the middle of the year, and as long as it's gone by December 31st and not there January 1, you don't get that tax use. So, just want to make sure that you're aware of that.
I'm no tax expert, but I believe what they were referring to in the laydown yard was a use tax. And a use tax would be taxable upon delivery of material to the counties. And then it would But it's a one-time tax, it's not a continuing tax, it's usually annual. But that'd be a one-time benefit of when the material's delivered, you get a use tax, just like a sales tax. And, but it's not an ongoing tax like a property tax.
Yeah. Any further comment?
I'm Karen Stone, I live south of town here, about 5 miles, just up the creek from the big booster station down here. I've got, it's a mile from one side of my land to the other. The power line has gone through our farm since I was a young man. And I've had several very bad experiences, so I've got a bad taste in my mouth about power lines. I had a situation once where they came in after a flood, and from one side of my place to the other, the power line crosses the little fabulous river or creek 13 times. So it's a very unopportune situation. It was put in years ago when my father only got about less than $100 a pole. They were double pole settings, so, and that's all we've ever got since then, except a lot of damage. And Northeast Power has to hire contractors to come in and do things like cleaning the right-of-way, working on poles, and due to the creek, they have to get off of their right-of-way. So they go as far as a quarter mile off their right-of-way to get to other places, and they go through fences, and they cut them, and then they fix them back, but they're never fixed back as good as they was when they cut them. So I've got a lot of things in my mind from the past, and I suppose there'll be contractual issues in this that will obligate somebody to fix things back like they were before when they come through. And then the other thing is, I think you guys are going about this wrong. You have never told any of us that you're going to want it, that you want to use our land, what you're going to give us for using it. You said, well, we're going to come in and evaluate your land, and then we'll give you a percentage or something like that. Well, you're going to hire, you told us at the meeting out at the Knox County School System, you'd hire appraisers to come in and do this. Well, are those appraisers going to be working for you or for us? And land around here selling for as much as $5,000 to $7,000 an acre. Are you going to try to appraise our land for $1,000 an acre or something? So these are things that we don't know. I think you'd make it a lot easier for yourselves if you come and tell us, hey, we're going to give you this, and then we'll send you an annual check according to our profits. And I've been told that you say, absolutely, that will not be possible. Well, we pay our electric bills monthly, and so therefore you expect that. So why couldn't we expect an annual income from us giving our land to good use? So this is some suggestions. You can see my feelings. I've had to put up the power line for most of my life, and it's kind of left a bittersweet taste in my mouth. So I'm not extremely happy. I'm there. And the power line's going to go across me if it's chosen to do so. And I'll take what I have to, but I'm also going to try to get all I can. And I do have an attorney lined up that will help me. And you probably have all on the counter to him before. So anyway, that's what I've got to say. And you can see I'm not irate, but I'm not really happy either. So, and I know we all need electricity, but you're talking about us benefiting here in this county from the electricity that's coming through here, but you also told us out at the Knox County School System that our electricity comes through a grid, and what we get here comes through Palmyra, is that what you told us, or through, and it comes off of the grid. So our power may come from another state, 2 or 3 states away. So just because you say this power is coming through our county, don't mean we're going to get any of it.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Last time, I just want you to know that whatever you decide today could affect not just your county, of course it's gonna affect all the counties. But my concern is that once big transmission lines come in like this and they use easements that are already there, which seems like this may be what happens, but it also opens the counties up to what's happening in Marion County. It's spider webbing and going out. You know, they were asked at the Marion County meeting if there was any other lines coming through when they signed for the Illinois Rivers project, and this is in their minutes from way back. I was there. They said not that they knew of. was, not that we're aware of. MISO has a study out there that shows not only another line coming out of Marion County, but 2 lines being studied by MISO going out of the Kirksville station that's not even built yet. So just concerns that that's gonna happen too, apparently. So whatever you do today is not just affecting this county, it's affecting, could possibly affect all the other counties.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Deborah Ladder, Mark. I'm hearing, I believe the figure was $780,000 would be a tax benefit to Knox County. Is that an annual benefit? Is that a one-time benefit? I'm not understanding that.
That would be the annual, after the project goes in service, annual approximate payment that we would make.
Annual,
Right, right.
$780,000 annual, is what you're saying. And you're intending to put this line through and pay this for the determination of the number of years, we're gonna say. The line that's there currently has been there since before my husband and I got married, which was 47.5 years ago. So you're saying this is gonna be an ongoing thing for that many years?
The 780, that's the first year payment. I'm gonna rely on Doug's statement, I'm not a tax expert, but I expect there would be depreciation over time of the assets, right? It's like any other thing that goes into service, it's like personal property, essentially, it's a personal property tax. Over time, yeah, that figure will probably go down, but the life of the assets, I think, are, 40 year, I think it's a 40 year, 50 year, that's a question for the tax commission, I'm not 100% sure. So.
So you're saying if you put this through, that you're only gonna use it for your own business needs, you're not going to have others using it. You're going to be liable for any accidents, and you're going to take care of the farmer or the landowner that has the problem. And I think it's a very good point that this gentleman made back here. His father got $100 per pole, a one-time payment, but that has cost him an awful lot of expense, trying to net expenses and take care of, I'm sure that there's probably riding four-wheelers or some kind of thing that's leaving tracks and causing issues for him. Is that a liability you're gonna handle on a yearly basis? I would think he should be sending you all a bill to repair his fences every time you do that.
I want to make sure I understand. I think what you're saying is these facilities will require less maintenance. So the times we have to get out there and visit them will be less to make any sort of modification. I think the first, from the steel pole perspective, the first thought of doing maintenance would be 10 years out. We do patrol and inspect it every year, but those are walking or aerial patrols, so the impact should be a lot less. But if we have to come out to access the pole for this facilities for any reason, and we damage it, then we pay for those damages or restore it to the same condition when we went out there. We would do that every time or any time we have to access the right of way. Is that a question you were asking? I don't know.
Yes.
You got that look, maybe I'm not.
I have one more question, but I can't think of what it is.
You can ask me after.
Thank you. Any other comment? Yes, sir.
Kind of on the same line, the easement I have on my property with Northeast Power, I believe it was $100 pole, which, across our property, about a half mile is 8 pole, $800, that seems pretty ridiculous now. But the offer they give us now is like for the compensation and value of the property. That's exactly what we got then. At that time, that property was sold for $80,000.
Century Farm south of her. We have 6 sets of powers on our land. I agree totally with Mr. Stone. One thing that I'm concerned about are our roads that come in, because I understand there's gonna be big cement trucks coming in, hauling all this cement put into these poles. These roads they're good now for our farm use, but if they come in there, let's say in March on a real rainy spring, and they need somebody, they're gonna cut our roads to pieces, because they're gonna get over in the ditches. I haven't had too much to do with Northeast Power. I can't say that they have damaged our land too much, but they don't cut our fences. They just run over the top of them when they go in with their 4-wheelers. After they found out that they were wanting to do all of this, a guy showed up down there to put our fence back up that he run over probably a year ago. So they don't do that much until they want something from us, and then they're willing to take care of our stuff. It's our family. The farm's been in our family for 4 generations. Like he said, the easements were signed back in the late 60s. There was $800 paid. We have a copy of the easement. We just don't want them coming in, tearing up our land. We have cropland on the hill where these poles are. We have hay ground. We have pasture. That pasture feeds the 50 cows and calves that's there on that particular piece of land. We have nowhere else to take these cattle. What's going to happen to them when they come in there and want to use all of this? Our cattle can't stay there while they're going in and out, even if they put gates on there. The cattle's going to be scared of these strangers. They're going to be scared of the big equipment that's coming in. We're just totally against it.
Thank you. There's no other comments?
I'm Gina Buggers from the Dairy Company, and I just want to know what would happen if you all don't agree or don't do this in today.
I guess, from our perspective, I guess that's hard to say. We certainly want to know why. I think we've had some good dialogue here over the last, probably for the last year. And I'd like to think that if there are problems or issues, that we can work together to resolve those. So the short answer is I'd like to understand why, and I'd like to continue to work with you to resolve the issues.
And that would be correct from the county standpoint too, that we would. I said that would be correct from the county standpoint also. If in fact the assent was not granted today, then we would work with ATXI and go back to the drawing board again. That's how this has come about today, was exactly that. And I have to give ATXI credit for the fact of doing what they did, which was come up with a new route that makes 100% more sense than the last one did, in my opinion. So that's how we got here today. And I would just want to address a couple of things you said. The county does have, and we've negotiated with ATXI, a letter of assurance about the roads and the use of the roads by ATXI. And they've agreed that the roads would be repaired, they would be returned to the same condition they were in when the project starts. So that is part of the assent order today. It is attached as an exhibit to the assent order today, Exhibit A. And they will do that. They've also agreed to return the land and the right-of-ways and those types of things to their condition when they start the project. So that has been considered and has been negotiated with ATXI to make sure that the roads will be repaired, to make sure that the right-of-ways and things of that nature will be repaired. Now, about your cattle, I don't know, but there's something I'm sure if you will work with ATXI, that they will be able to do something to alleviate that concern for us. Well, yes, and I guess I can just tell you about the letter of assurance in a little bit more detail. What we negotiated and what we've agreed with ATXI, if the county does accept the assent today and enter the order, there will be an independent third-party contractor that will assess all of the roads before the project begins. That will have nothing to do with the commission, that will have nothing to do with ATXI. It will be an independent road contractor that will come in and assess the roads, and they will videotape and do what they need to do to document the conditions of the roads before the project starts. And as the project is in process, if there are problems, then the county will work with that road contractor to fix those problems and to alleviate those concerns. And of course, the baseline the road contractor will establish will be what will be utilized to make sure the roads are correctly repaired. So there will be something for the county to see and look at to make sure that it goes back to what it was before the project started. And when the project is completed, if there are still problems with the roads, again, the road contractor and the county will go through that, come up with what those problems are, and ATXI has agreed to compensate the county to fix those problems. So the county will have control of fixing the problems back to the standard as they were before the project began. And that was part of the negotiations concerning this assent today.
We had a pipeline go through in 1959, and we still have scars on the land from that. And they said the same thing he did. They take care of it, but they didn't take care of it. It's still there. When I'm working, I have to watch because you got dips and holes, and I got places that are huge that have been blown out of the ground, and they didn't come back and take care of those. These guys are not going to do it either. These guys are sitting out here in the audience like they're our friends. They're not our friends, folks. These guys want to take something from us, and that they can have an answer for everything. And I just don't think that we can trust these guys, and I don't think we need those to go through our land and rip things up. It's going to really, they're going to leave some scars, and they're not going to fix them. So that's just the way it's going to be.
And Garrett County don't want them, so we don't want them.
Assume with the easements and things with the landowners to be a contractual obligation to address those concerns with the damages.
That's right. Even outside of even the easements or contracts, that's something that we unilaterally committed to do during the last commission case, and we would intend to commit to do this time around too. So it's not something that the individual landowners necessarily have to build into all of their easements, but that's a commitment from us.
But it will be.
Right.
In the easement contract or agreement.
We could incorporate it if that's a concern, but even if it's not, that's still binding.
It'll actually be a condition of the Public Service Commission order, which is legal authority as well.
It'll still be binding, yeah.
And as far as wiring easements and things, we will ATXI negotiate with landowners on that as far as.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole process that goes into it. I mean, it starts, I think somebody brought up appraisals. Part of it's a market data study appraisal. The value, we're paying 100%, essentially fee value of that right-of-way, 150 feet wide across the property. That also would not, that is just for the cost of the land, and on top of that is the damage payments, prepaid or otherwise. And then that's agreed to. Outside of that, should there be during construction something that wasn't covered in that original settlement, we will settle up again to make sure that the end of it either it's restored the way it's supposed to be, or payment is made to compensate.
We could probably talk about that for an hour. I will say that Adam White is here. He's the project manager, project manager for CLS, the contract land staff real estate acquisition company that's working for us to help go out and acquire easements from folks. Anybody has questions about the real estate acquisition process or the nuts and bolts of that, we'll be happy to stick around. And Jim or Adam are probably your guys.
One more question for me. During the open house, I know it was brought up about Century Farms, homesteads, and the payment on those. Do you have any further insight on that as to how that? The way I understand our statute is there is actually a larger payment for that for Missouri statute, the way I understand it.
I guess I'll say, and I'm not like a real estate expert necessarily. I know a statute exists, like you. If that statute triggers extra payments, we'll pay them. I mean, we're obligated to comply with Missouri law, so to the extent that that's the law, we'll follow it. I don't know necessarily whether or not just because something is a Century Farm, that's going to trigger an obligation under this project to provide extra damages. I don't know, but if it does, I mean, the law exists, so we would intend to follow it.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I just have another thought. When, I think it was the attorneys for them said that when the question was asked for Mr. Glover about like if an oil company or somebody else wanted to come through, would they be able to get an easement? And I think her, the answer was, and you have to get permission or they couldn't do it. Okay, that would be the same thing as them asking them to build it. If they say they can't do it, then is that it? They don't want you to they don't want to give you an easement, that's gonna be it, you can't do it?
I'm sorry. Can you rephrase that? Give me an example.
Well, okay, Mr. Glover asked if you came through, could another company come through and just put something on an easement?
Right.
And you said they'd have to get their own easement.
From Mr. Glover, right?
And if they didn't get the easement, they couldn't do it. Is that what you said?
Well, I think we were just saying that under our easement, there's nothing that says, that compels you to give the right to them. That's a separate.
Right, so let's use like a pipeline example. Let's say that like a pipeline, we build a line and a pipeline wants to come through and cross under the line, let's say. They would need to talk to Mr. Glover in this scenario about that. If Mr. Glover told them no, they couldn't use our easement. They couldn't come to us and say, ATXI, give us the legal right for us to put a pipeline across Mr. Glover's land. That's not something we do. And the easements generally aren't broad enough to allow that type of thing, nor is that the type of activity that we would engage in.
But if they still say no, then I guess the next thing we did have to do is end the domain.
I have no idea what their rights are. I have no idea. I don't know. Pipes are different. Every utility, every entity is different as far as whether they have condemnation rights or not.
But this one, on yours though, if they decide they don't want to do, they've got the poles there and they like what they have and they don't want anything else, and they keep saying no, they get into.
For us, for our project, I sure hope we don't get there. And I could talk for a long time about why I think we won't, how the project, I think we're going to compensate landowners fairly. I mean, not to dwell on it, I think we probably do have that right. I hope we never have to use it.
Time for one last comment, if anyone would like to speak out.
I've heard a lot of promises today from these people. They're gonna do this, they're not gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Are you gonna hold them accountable for us? Is that gonna be something, I'd like to see it all in writing, and you all have it in your records for generations, so that if they don't follow through with what they've said they will do and won't do, that we have some kind of recourse. I think the county commissioners should be alert that they need to be taking care of these needs. This is part of their job. They're maintaining the roads and this and that. They need to be making sure that things are taken care of that they've agreed to.
As far as the roads go, correct me if I step out of line.
Yeah, as far as the agreement is concerned, there is a consent order today that the county commission has that we have negotiated with ATXI. That is in writing. There's a letter of assurance about the roads and the right-of-ways and the bridges and the right-of-ways and things of that nature. It is in writing. It was signed by a bona fide representative of ATXI, and if the county commission approves it today, it will be signed by the county commission. So it is binding. So we do have that. We have various aerial maps that Mr. Johnson has talked about that show the route that will go across the county, so the county knows where it's going to cross on county roads and things of that nature. And of course, that's the best that ATXI has right now, and most likely in this county that probably will not change, but it could. And if it does, then that's something that the county commission will talk with ATXI about. So all of those things are in writing. Now, some of the things that they have said and represented about various other things, those cannot be in writing. writing, like the tax numbers and those kinds of things. They may vary and what have you, but I'm going to assume and would tell the county commission that the Missouri Taxing Authority will hold them liable for the taxes that they owe. They generally speaking do a pretty good job of that, at least they do with me every year. So I'm assuming they will do the same job with ATXI. So what needs to be in writing today is in writing. So we would assure you of that. And if the county commission grants the assent and signs the assent order and signs the letter of assurance, that's of course available to you and anyone else in this room and the public, because it's an open record under the Missouri Sunshine Law. So that will be available to you to have.
Mr. John Drew, do you have anything in closing? Any questions from the rest of the commission? This time I'd entertain a motion on the assent order. Order number 2017-1.
I move that we grant assent to use our public roads or highways to ATXI.
Motion on the floor. Second. Roger seconds. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Consent order is granted.
Thank you.
Hey, wait. Don't go anywhere. Excuse me. Oh. Will you do an interview with me really fast while we're live?
What?
Will you do an interview really fast while we're live? Come over
It's
here.
not gonna do any good though.
Okay, so is it you have a let me get this. You have a Century Farm
Yes, we have a Century Farm. It's south of Herdland. It's been in our
in
family
Knox County.
in Knox County.
What is your name?
Kenneth and Betty Campbell.
I'm sorry, I'm going to crowd you, Betty, because
That's
it's going to
okay.
get loud in
That's
here.
okay.
Betty. So Knox County Commission has just granted assent to the Mark Twain Transmission Project.
Yes.
And what are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling that they did all the farmers in the area wrong because I think most of them in this room are probably farmers and landowners. We pay a large portion of the tax in Knox County. I think they should have taken better care of us. I think you cannot believe anything that this ATXI says. They have paid a lot of money for land in Adair County. They tell us they're going to pay us a lot of money. I think we're not going to have a good outcome from this. And Sheriff Becker doesn't think we're going to have a very good outcome either.
How big is your farm? How many acres is
It's
it?
243 acres, is Century Farm.
And how long has it been in your family?
It's been in the family for 4 generations.
Wow, so when was it the original date?
Gee, I can't tell you. My husband could, but I can't. Yeah.
And then what kind of farming do you do?
We do row crop and Angus cattle.
And how long have you lived in Knox County?
I was born in Knox County. We have lived in the Herdland area and farmed there since 1979. My husband's family has been there since way back. They bought the farm, I think they're close to Herdland, about 1950. The farm that's the Century Farm is the one where they started their farming operation. So, anything else?
You are a Knox County girl.
Yes, exactly right.
Thank you for your time.
Yes. Uh-huh.
We're just going to keep trying that. We're just going to see if we can talk to some more people. Hey, do you want to do a quick interview? No? Okay.
I can't. Sorry though.
That's okay. We're live. I'm live. Do you want to do a quick interview? Jim, okay. Put me in line with him. Okay, will you do a quick interview? Will you do it really fast? We're the only one that,
You can say that you still in favor, you know, this year.
Well, as opposed to just keeping and getting everyone busy, let's go see what we can talk to the commission. Can we talk to you really fast?
Yeah.
Interview?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get away from all these.
Okay.
Just for the noise.
Yes. Too close? Not a close enough?
You're fine.
Hey.
This is, wait. Okay, Mike.
Yes.
Tell me your name and your title in county government.
I'm Mike Fox, and I'm Eastern District County Commissioner for Knox.
And so you guys just voted to grant assent to the Mark Twain Transmission Project.
That is correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process that got you from denying assent, you know, over the last, so it's been a couple of years, hasn't it?
It was before I started, really. The process was starting. We've had a lot of eye-opening since then. We hired an attorney to negotiate for us. We were one of 5 counties that had that happen. That we all decided to hire this attorney. 3 of the 5 hired our attorney, and he's been negotiating the whole time with them. And it's a very, very good agreement with us. We're looking forward to working with ATXI, and on our roads, it can be nothing but a good thing for us, and it's going to be a lot of money for a lot of different organizations in the county.
With a very high tax
Very high
incentive
tax.
for Knox County here. Our budget's less than $4 million a year.
Exactly,
so,
and this is going to...
$750,000 is a lot for us.
Exactly. It's a tremendous amount of money, and I don't think any of us realized that it was going to be anything like that kind of amount of money. Besides that, we're going to have a holding place for a lot of their equipment as they put the lines together, and it will be centralized here, and that will be additional tax.
A good use tax
yes.
For us. So do you really feel like the county, this line is more beneficial? You know?
Yes. It is a hardship for some, I'm sure, if it crosses your land, but generally for the county, it is a good thing with this kind of money, and you know, in our county, we desperately need additional revenue.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. I don't know if I should just keep live streaming and ambushing people. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. Hey, will you guys do an interview live?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you and get a chance to speak with you. Oh.
Fair warning.
Yeah,
Can these guys do an interview while we're waiting for Jim, or?
I know Doug wants to do the interview with you.
Okay.
But I didn't know if you wanted it here or in your office.
Yeah.
Because I know he's doing one with Ashley right now.
Yeah, I can wait. We're live still, and so I've just been like going around being like, what do you think, what's on your mind?
Oh, yeah, to the public.
Evan, I got questions for you. Come over here. Okay, we're live. We're live. Can you just tell me your name and your title as far as your position in our government here in Knox County?
I'm Evan Glasgow. I'm the presiding commissioner of beautiful Knox County.
It is, let's go in here. Hopefully wow, it's loud in there.
Yes, it is.
Okay, how about here? Okay, can you just talk about the process leading up to, being against the Mark Twain Transmission Project coming through the county to now granting assent to the project?
Well, as you know, I mean, we've had, this has been an ongoing process. I can't speak a whole lot on terms of what transpired before due to, you know, the litigation. However, I will say that I believe this has been a good compromise. I believe Ameren addressed the concerns of many of the landowners and citizens that had brought up concerns before regarding the route. And I think they've made a lot of progress in that respect.
What would you just off the top of your, what was the major head turner? Was it the new route that kind of, because it was kind of a closed issue as far as no, we're not going to grant assent, and then was it the new route that really kind of turned the way of it kind of?
I believe so. Like I said, they addressed a lot of the concerns. That was probably the top concern that we had going through our hearings and public meetings beforehand was the new route. Everybody kept saying, why can't they use an existing right of way? Why do they have to tear up my new field or my great field? And then they addressed that. They found a way to use existing right of way, and like I said, I think it's an excellent compromise that they made.
Okay, do you have anything you want to say to the people of Knox County just about this coming project? I mean, this is a huge project. Should it come to fruition, do you have any kind of remarks about the decision that was made today, or any message you want to give?
I would say, there were several comments about damages and things like that, as far as on the land with the project, building it, and ongoing maintenance. I would say that as I sit down and speak with Ameren representatives regarding easements and things of that nature, to make sure they get that stuff in writing, get everything in writing, and hold them accountable. I have no doubt that they will do as they said they would, but it's been my experience that everything in writing is better.
Sound advice. Thank you.
Very much.
I think the Mark Twain Transmission Project, do you guys want to talk really fast? I don't really, it's so echoey in here. I wonder, let's see if, follow me.
Let me get my stuff.
Hey, Eric, sorry if I'm getting you dizzy. I'm just trying, I don't know if you can hear that, these interviews, because it is so echoey in this courtroom. I don't know. This is one of the very first YouTube live streams I've done, and I don't know if you're watching, if you can put in the comment section if you can hear or not. That would be grand. I'm going to try and get the ATXI into a different room so we can actually hear. Okay. We might. Oh, it's not bad out here. Okay, so before it. Yeah, come right here. Okay, so for the first time in Knox County, you have been granted assent, and this is probably the third attempt at assent here in Knox.
Well, second attempt, third assent we've received.
Okay.
On the project.
Maybe it was just like multiple trips that, it just seems like multiple trips. Maybe that first request took a lot of, it seemed like it was a lot of, okay, so what does this mean now that you have assent here in Knox County? Like, what does this mean for your project?
Well, it just means we have a third one, and we still need to get two more from Adair and Skylar, and that's our next effort, and we want to work with them to answer the questions and concerns of everybody like today. So just moving forward with those and seeing what's next.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Can you just tell me your name and your position as far in relation?
Sure, Jim John Tree, project manager for the Mark Twain Transmission Project.
So what's your next step from here? Now that you've gotten assent in the three of the 5 counties.
Well, we still need to get 2 more, so it's still going to be working with the remaining 2 counties to get those if we can, and if not, find out why and try to address any more concerns or issues that may arise. Should we be granted all 5, we will have to file at the Missouri Public Service Commission again, so it'll be another Public Service Commission case.
What does the timeline look like for, it's Adair and Schuyler, is that right?
I believe September, they will be in September.
You'll meet with them in September and they'll decide whether to grant assent?
I'm not 100% sure. I know Adair we do have a meeting September 5th in Adair County, I believe it's been posted. And then Schuyler County, I think, will be scheduled around that same time.
Okay.
Just gonna, interrupt. We can also go to,
We're live.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. I don't know if you saw, the most recent, I don't know if it's the most recent court decision, but the Supreme Court's, refusal to pick up the decision on, whether the Public Service Commission has even the power to grant a CCN without the assent of the counties.
Correct.
Or is that what it's called, a certificate of
That's
CN?
right, CCN, Certificate of Convenience and Necessity.
And so and then most recently, the Grain-Belt Express, did you see that? The Grain-Belt Express
I did see
project
that.
was denied by the Public Service Commission,
I did see
even though they felt that the project was necessary for the state, like everything, it all kind of stacked up except for those counties. Could something like one county refusing to grant assent stall this project?
I guess in theory, we are not going to file the Public Service Commission until we have all the assents necessary to build the project.
What does it look like if, like right now, it's kind of iffy with Adair, like if there is enough pushback in Adair that they do not grant assent, like what does that, have you built any scenarios for, that case if you can't get assent from just one county, what's the next step from there?
Well, I'm optimistic, so I think we've done a lot of work to address all the concerns. We've been successful here the past few days. I hope that we can carry that forward to the remaining counties and answer any questions or concerns. And if not, why? And can we do more to make sure that they're comfortable with the project moving forward?
So here's another question, where the lawsuits and the negotiations were concerned as far as like dropping pieces of the lawsuit, kind of in exchange for assent from each county. Is that contingent on all the counties granting assent or just each individual county granting assent?
I don't know the answer to that. You'd have to
Ask Eric. I'll ask Eric.
I think that it is not conditional, but you'd have to ask Eric.
Okay. And so far, you're not going to talk about if we don't get assent on anything?
I don't want to think about the negative.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
I'm going to go wrap this up and then I'll go. Still live?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's still some people lingering in this courtroom. We have talked to someone from Knox County who is a far not in agreement with this and disagreement with this decision. We did talk to the commissioners who made the decision. I really wasn't able to get our county resident who came out in support of the decision, but I will go back and try to work that into my story. And so you've kind of had this inside view of just covering this just small piece of this huge story, and there are more questions to be asked, especially about the lawsuits against all of the counties, how those negotiations work, and really what happens if they don't get assent from each individual county. When, the first time this went around, they did not get assent from any of the counties, and those counties were Adair, Schuyler, Knox, Marion, and Shelby County, and then they proposed this new route, and so Shelby County is no longer in the new route path, but Lewis County is, and so we haven't really been through this process in this way, where assents have been granted at all. Now they have 3 of them out of the 5, but also the question of if they do not get all of the assents from all of the counties, what is that going to do? What is that going to look like? Is that possible? And I did notice there was an Adair County Commissioner, Mark Thompson, was here for this meeting, and I was not able to catch him for an interview. And so, anyways, I'm just going to shut this down. I'm going to start trying to wrap my head around this. Thank you so much for tuning into this live stream, and I will just post the video as soon as I can get back to the office and things. So thank you for watching. I'm Echo Mendez for NemoNews.net and the Edina Sentinel, signing off for now.